Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. Is it over? It's done? Oh, okay. All right. No, I thought since everybody on the field was snoozing the last 5 overs, it's just contagious. Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. Good morning, everybody. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Joy Bhattacharjya and Mpumelelo Mbangwa. Wake up, friends, brothers, wake up! It's over. Well, it was over a long time ago. But sometimes you got to do the paperwork. Joy, what is it you say? Cross the T's and dot the I's, and that's what was happening. Had to play the 20 overs. Bangalore in the end, 54 runs. That's what Punjab has won by. Yeah, that's right. Bangalore fell short by 54 runs, which means officially their net run rate is in the ICU, and I don't think it's going to make it. It's not looking good. Joy, those last 5 overs. I don't know if the English language has been. I just told Tommy that it was a bit like getting a root canal, and he's been laughing at my misery.
I'll tell you why I was laughing. I'll tell you why I was laughing. Why would anyone have the experience of a root canal sort of front of brain and ready to retrieve? Like, why would you have that? Anyhow.
Because I've got two kinds of problems: dental and mental. So that's why it's always there. It's always there. Yeah,
For me,
yes,
I've had 8 root canals, and that's really top of my mind. 8 root canals, very few of them. Maybe one of them was more painful than this, but the other 7 definitely not.
Oh wow, jeez.
I feel pain just thinking about that.
This is the problem. This is a Bengali. This is a true Bengali. Lots of sweet, right? Lots of rotting teeth. But well, that was there's a bit of a root canal required for Bangalore after that game, because they're going to have to get to the root of this and figure out what really happened. I mean, they've fallen short by 54 runs with a batting lineup that was not short by any stretch, against a bowling lineup, Pommy, which was fractured because you didn't have Liam Livingston on the field. So. And if you go to the bowling real quick, let's just do it in reverse and see the bowling, because the Punjab bowling, he didn't have everybody. He only had the 5 bowlers. The 5 bowlers who, besides Rabada, none of them is one of those shiver in your boot kind of bowlers, right? With no disrespect, but they've still got it done.
Yeah, and if you kind of look at how he went about the start, when we sort of went into the chase, we said, there's a bit of a problem in that he's going to have to try and mix and match. And then what he wants on the day, Mayank, is that his best bowlers go quite well. So what does he do? He uses spinner and he goes Harpreet Bra first up and hopes that everything's going to be okay. It didn't seem like it was going to be. They looked like they're going to be under pressure. But relative to what was the score they were kind of trying to defend, it was okay. Had a couple of overs from him up at the front, and initially sort of thought, oh, that's a bit of an error. I don't know if you don't want Rabada to bowl for like 3 overs in the game and then you bring him on. But it didn't work out that way, because he came on and he got wickets. So it wasn't a problem. It ended up working the way that he had sort of planned it, and everything he did, Mayank, seemed to just go according to plan, to the point where they didn't miss Livingston. Right?
Yeah.
It just was a case of, I'll just use these 5 bowlers. They'll bowl 4 each and away we go. And it was just, kind of walk in the park sort of scenario with no danger present. There was a point where the game was a bit on edge, where Maxwell has an assault. And when he does, you sort of think, if he can stay in for a little bit, and in fact, at 10 overs, we were saying, if they can manage those overs and get to sort of 14, 15 with 75, maybe even 80 to get, perhaps, right? But it just goes to show you, in a chase where runs are on the board and there is that pressure of the scoreboard, you can't put a foot wrong, because if you do, it's difficult to recover.
Yeah, we spoke about it in the combox. Pommy and I did, Joy. And we were saying it was very tantalizingly poised. The wickets were gone. Yes, 3 wickets were gone, but there was Maxwell there. He was looking good. But in the back 10, they've managed to get just a run a ball, and they've lost 6 wickets. I don't know what happened. There's just been, it's not like the bowling picked up 5, 6 notches. It was really good right through. but the batting just kind of imploded almost after the halfway stage.
Yeah, I think that's the point. The batting imploded after the halfway stage. And look, I'll tell you one thing. If you take away Maxwell and you take away Karthik, very few others have the power to score at 12, 13 and over. Okay, this Bangalore side is a great side for chasing 150s, 160s, 170s. They'll get 200 on occasion as they did in the first match, and Punjab chased it down. Their first match, Punjab chased it down. But they're not a regular 200 side. They're a regular 160, 150, 160. Somebody gets it, they will chase it down well. This is not the kind of total. It's not a kamikaze batting lineup. This is not a total. It's not the kind of team that can chase those totals down. Perhaps it might even have a ghost of a chance if Duplessis and Virat Kohli come to the party. But they haven't. That's the truth of it.
Yeah. What about Virat's bad luck? I mean, this is just this is now getting to a point where I need to call some black magic kind of people, right? To kind of get the spell off him, because how do you get that? Is just the most bizarre way to get out. Tommy?
Oh, it happens, and when I say it happens, and because the guy's a great player, it kind of gets accentuated. And then you sort of try and think of when there was a time where he went through a rut and couldn't score a run, and you're not going to find too many of those, right? And because of that, if it happens and goes on for a bit of time, it's odd for us all, because our expectation is that, you know, he's going to score runs. He'll come out of it. Oh, next time he'll come out. Next time he'll come out of it. And today, actually, with the shots that he played when he started up, you just thought he's on his way. He must be on his way.
Yeah.
And he played 3-4 shots. You thought, my goodness, this is vintage Virat. And then there you go. That's how he gets out. And he was upset himself, I think. And I suppose upset's not the word, actually, because he just is wondering, you know, how else am I going to get out? Because it's not as if you played a poor shot, or how else am I going to get out? Because that's just tuck. And another day tucks that fine and it goes for 4 and he carries on batting. But such is the game. It does this. These things happen. It can make you smile and all warm and fuzzy inside. It can make you cry as well.
Or just, I mean, the fact that it's kind of just kissed the glove. Well, that can happen. He had no idea that it happened, but it's also where it hit him. An inch below, it probably hits the thigh pad and just falls down, or a little above it hits his rib and it hurts, but it doesn't get out. But it's almost like the edge of the thigh pad, which just loops it up, and he gets caught at short fine. I'm just, it's just, is there a spell on the guy? Do we need to do a havan? Joy, is there something?
Got to be a mind reader, because that's exactly what I was about to say. What are the odds that it kisses a glove and it also hits exactly the right place in the thigh pad? How many more things can go wrong for him? I mean, how many more things? And he's looking in total disbelief. He's just in total, utter disbelief, saying there are so many ways to get out. And look, I tell you, I've seen this happen. You know, when things go bad for you, say, if one of the things that they'd always talk about is if you flick down the leg side and you get caught, you know, down the leg, the odds of it are so bad that you only have it when you go through those, you know, periods of luck. And for him, this is even worse. He doesn't even flick. He touches glove. It hits the thigh pad in exactly the right place for it to pop up. It just, I mean, what does
and
it
straight to the
right
fielder,
here?
just straight, like he's just there. Thank you.
Yeah,
You know
it's
this.
It's a crazy game, man. It's a crazy game, and that's
for all three things to happen, right? For all three things to happen. And Joy, he's got a few books behind him. I don't know if he's got any of Ian Fleming's books, but I think it was the Doctor is a Doctor No opening that says 1 time is happenstance, 2 times is coincidence, 3 times is enemy action. Yeah, I think Virat Kohli needs some James.
What about
Bond
4 times?
There is no 4 times. Enemy action and you're gone. He's back in the dugout. There is no 4 times. But for Virat, like, it's just looking so good today. And now I'm telling you that even the ones out there, and there's, you know, great, all-time greats are polarizing figure. Virat's a polarizing figure. There's people who are rabid fans of his, and there's people who go, I don't like him at all. Even those guys are now saying, this is a bit much. Yeah, let's let him get some runs. This bad.
What it does do, guys, is it just makes things rather precarious for RCB. At the start of the night, we were saying, look, perhaps, they hit form at the right time, and it's the business end, and they'll get some runs from Duplessis and from Virat Kohli, and then the rest of the order gets clicked into place, and away they go, and they'll be okay. Now you're going, hold on. Are you going to be okay? Because there's a problem. Others are kind of picking up. Punjab Kings played their game today. The way that the Punjab Kings like to play. This is if you come up against the Punjab Kings that plays this way, whoever you are in the league, you're in trouble. So, hey,
I'll tell you what. There's two teams that are now just looking over their shoulders. There's Rajasthan and there's Bangalore. And what they see coming in the rearview mirror is Delhi and Punjab, right? Those cars are coming good. Here's the thing. It's like Mad Max, right? Delhi and Punjab are like Mad Max right now. You don't know if they'll overtake you, or they'll just ram into you, or they'll just topple you over, or they'll just run out of fuel and stop. Right, Joy? This is literally like a scene from Mad Max with Rajasthan and Bangalore going.
Absolutely.
And Delhi and Punjab, guys behind them with the guitar guy at the front, right? This guitar guy hanging at the front of the
Mad
car.
Man with the guitar is playing like crazy, yeah. But yeah, I'm saying not only that. Tomorrow you're going to have a match between Sunrisers and Kolkata.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a third guy in the mirror then.
Hang on a
One of them is going to win a fifth match. So there are going to be three guys going, revving up their engines for you.
It becomes very interesting if Hyderabad, because it's their 12th game. If you see, they've played the least number of games. So if they play
that's the one.
That's the tricky one, because if they get to 12 from 12, that's then three teams sitting on 12 from 12. And that's what I want going into the last week, probably. I want that the juicy meatball. Please, can you arrange this for me?
I have to just tell you this story because you've raised Mad Max. Do you know how Mel Gibson got selected to do Mad Max? It's the most crazy story.
We want to know.
So this guy, Mel Gibson, is going around with he and a friend of his. They have this audition the next day, and they think they're going to do a role or whatever. And they go to a pub, and they pick up a fight with somebody, and Mel Gibson gets really bashed up. So he arrives the next day for audition with his face all swollen all over the place, and the director looks at him and says, "That's the look I want." And he gets picked up. He gets picked up because of that. And then basically Mad Max becomes a super duper hit, and Mel Gibson has a 20-year career in Hollywood. 25 years.
That's insane. All right, guys, I'm going to leave and go down to the bar next door and get beaten up, right? I don't think it should be too hard for me.
Yeah, he'd have to tell the story in like 20 years' time on retro reels. He'd still be here. Oh, sure.
Yeah, it will. Trust me, it will. Oh Lord! All right, listen. There's a lot of. I mean, we may think the last 5 overs were kind of a snooze fest, but the result has really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons, as they say. Yes, it is become a spicy meatball, because now suddenly you've got more than a few teams with a sniff. The somewhat comfortable teams are now beginning to get a little squirmish. There is Rajasthan, of course, who still has a chance to go to 18, remember, right? So right now, everything is open, right? It just looks like Gujarat is probably a shoe-in for 1 or 2. Yeah, looks like it. But otherwise, I don't think you can choose any position. I don't think Bangalore can get to the top 2. They are looking to just qualify. But this is super interesting. Call it. Come on, Pommy, call it. Can you do it?
I'm not sure that I can call it, but what is quite fascinating is that we might have, after tomorrow, a whole lot of titles all the way down the bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
11.
We might have 2 up the top and the rest down the bottom. Right?
Look, right now, it's just right now how it is. That's 11 trophies from 14. That's the bottom 3. right?
So the bottom
And,
four
and
is
the one
actually
at,
13 out
and
of
the one
14.
at 4 as well. Bottom 4.
If you look
and
at the
one
bottom
there.
four, it's 13
Well,
out of
there's
14.
13 out of
Two.
14.
Yeah, there are
Oh,
two there, right?
That's two Hyderabad. That is correct.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Oh,
so it's absolutely fascinating for me. Like, and at the beginning of the tournament, we kept saying, where are these two new teams going to figure? Are they going to be okay? It's going to be like a struggle for them because they've got to find their way. And they're going, ooh, nosebleed. What's it like down there?
no oxygen up here. There's no oxygen up here.
Like it's
Oh,
absolutely incredible. And you know what?
yeah.
With regard to your spicy meatball and kind of talking about whether Sunrisers Hyderabad can turn over Kolkata Knight Riders, I wonder if Kolkata Knight Riders are just out of kilter. Too much going on, and not so much from the cricket here, but now their coach is not their coach. He's just been given a whole other job. How much does that distract from what's required? And it shouldn't. Many will say it shouldn't, but how does it not? It's real. It's reality, and it's around you. And there's this great difficulty as well that's going on with trying to get results. So, perhaps.
Okay, we'll come to Calcutta and Hyderabad in just a second, but let's look at our Omnigel relief and recovery performer of the match. Omnigel, India's #1 pain recovery gel brand. It not only gives quick relief, but also recovery from pain. No third for fans. We're talking about Rishi Dhawan. Picked up the 2 wickets, picked up the early blow. There was one caught Dhawan, bowled Dhawan. Loved that, right? Both the brothers getting together. Him coming into the team at the back of a brilliant domestic season, Joy, has really worked out for Punjab, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. With Duplessis, Duplessis and Nomrod, both important wickets. And look, he's their designated fifth bowler. When he comes good, when he does stuff for them, and he's not the fastest bowler, he's just a wily old customer who's played this circuit played the domestic circuit for years and years. He's one of the legends of domestic cricket. Every year he does really well. So that's what he did. He just bowled within his limitations. He knew exactly how much he'd bowl. So, that's what I love about this tournament. That every day you have this young Terrace going at 150, 151, 146, 145. Here's this guy who's barely in early 130s, barely crossed the 120s. And he comes in and he's smart enough to get out 2 wickets and knows exactly how to bowl to in a match because he's wily. He knows that's 200, they have to attack him. It's too big a target for them not to attack him. So just bowl the kind of lengths where they have to take risks against him. And that's what you need. That's the kind of bowler you need under these circumstances. So I just love the way, it's really nice to support, young Terrace. But every once in a while, just to watch an old guy who sort of made it back and really uses his guile and to get wickets, I really enjoyed it. I'm a huge fan.
That's a great point, isn't it, Tommy? The guile, because we've seen enough 150s going back over the boundary at 250, but these are the ones that are tough because they're using. It's a perfect combination of brawn and brain.
100%, and there is a kind of a game awareness and intelligence that you get from experience, right? Now, when it comes to a 200 chase, you've got to absolutely understand what your role in the situation is, but you've also got to understand how you fit into whatever the strategy of your opposition is going to be to try and get the 200. And by that, I mean, batters will look and they'll say path of least resistance. If we can get runs from there, we get them from there. If we don't have to go at Hasaranga because he's quite good, we don't go. We wait and we nudge ones, and then we play the other guy. That's what happens. So in the Punjab Kings attack, Rishi would have assessed things and known that each time he comes on to bowl, they're coming for him, right? And because they are, he has to try. And how did he get his wickets? He made sure that he's getting out of the hitting arc of Faf du Plessis straight away. Not, oh, I'm going to bowl at the wicket, see if it swings. No. I'm going to be out of the hitting arc. You can come at me if you want, but you might have to fetch it. What happened? He nicked it. Because what else are you going to do? Bowl slower balls. Because smart, understands that this is what's going to happen. They're going to be running at me. They're going to be trying to hit me over the boundary because they can, and they feel they can, and feel that I'm the guy that they can take on. And so his skills to the fore, his experience to the fore, understanding the situation and bowling what are the right deliveries in that situation, and came out on top. And you don't want to be the weak link in your side. Sometimes the thought process is, oh, okay, that we think that's the weak link, and then you come up against a guy's skills, and in effect, he's the guy who gets you because he's just that bit smarter, right? Street smart, long time, can't buy experience in the supermarket.
Well, you can't, but you can get some Omnigel. He's our Omnigel relief and recovery performer of the match is Rishi Dhawan. He ensured there was no thud for Punjab fans. All right. So all in all, a brilliant victory for Punjab. Put up 209 they did for the loss of 9 wickets. Remember, their batting effort was super entertaining. Just to show you the match summary, an 83-run power play. And then things dipped a bit from 7 to 10. But Liam Livingston came in and hit that brilliant knock. Contextually, if you see, had to kind of rebuild a little bit because the wickets had got lost. And then he delivered the punch right at the end. So one from Bairstow in the beginning and one from Livingston at the back. And that punch took them way beyond 200. 4 wickets there for Harshad Patel and 2 for Hasaranga, which means that he is up on top on the purple cap standings. And then Bangalore came out to bat, and nobody could really kind of get going. They showed glimpses, but you need more than glimpses if you want a chance at 210. And they just didn't, and they fell short by 54 runs, which means things are looking a little tricky for them on the points table now. And in terms of their net run rate, their net run rate's taken quite a beating as well. So at this point in time, it's looking like, well, leave aside Mumbai, it's looking like the worst net run rate in the tournament, which means that perhaps even getting to 16 won't be enough for them, because if they're jammed with anyone who's 16, guaranteed, they're not going through. Well, all right, let's have a look at the game that's happening on Saturday. It is a Saturday with just the one game. What happened? Double header? No. Okay, fine. I think just because I have the day off tomorrow, it's been decided to have only one game in protest. It's Calcutta and Hyderabad. This, again, is a very interesting encounter. And Hyderabad's looking at this, and Hyderabad's looking at the points table and saying, we don't mind that our games came slow, because now suddenly they have a game in hand from everyone else and 2 games in hand from, just RCB. So, they're looking at that and saying, if we can go 12 and 12, we can create a little logjam in the middle and make things really interesting going into the final week of the league stage. Let's have a look at the Hyderabad team and get Pommy and Joy in on it. Any changes that you foresee to this lineup?
I mean, I can't see Fazal Haq Farooqi coming in with Marco Jansen still there. I mean, the truth is the 2 things that they're waiting for really is for Washington Sundar to come back. I mean, really, we don't know how bad the injury is. So Washington Sundar, if he's not going to come back, that's one thing, because Washington Sundar will slot straight back. And the other, of course, definitely is Fazal Farooqi. I feel that they have a much better chance with somebody like Marco Jansen, given the situation that we have. They tried him out. He's a tearaway fast bowler. He does well, but Marco Jansen just has so much more to offer. And the preponderance of right-handers also in the Kolkata team, slanting the ball away as a left-hander. I would definitely look at that.
I mean, you'd miss Natarajan in any team, but given what Joy is saying, you'll really miss him tomorrow if he's not fit and doesn't return, Bobby.
Yeah, I was just actually thinking that it's the 2 lefties that you're looking at and you're thinking you want them back. One, because what they bring is some international experience, and they're different, aren't they? One's very tall and he'll bring some bounce and be back of a leg. The others sort of right up at the stumps and is always at you and pretty good at the back end at the death. So yeah, and also I think it's a good thing that they've sort of had a bit of a break. And why I think that is because having started particularly well, they couldn't quite stop the rot. You know, they just kind of went on this spiral and needed just to step away and couldn't. And that's the nature of the tournament. But sometimes you get into a losing scenario and it's pretty difficult to stop it, and you just keep fetching and unable to chase. And so I think that they'll feel pretty good. They'll kind of have had an opportunity to regroup, and the hope for them is that having regrouped, they can kind of go back to what those performances were towards the start of the tournament when they were going so well.
Yeah, and for the Knight Riders, Joy, it's, they've come back to the 11 that they started with. There's a saying, right, that if you go really far away from home and you keep going, you just come right back, right? Because the world is round. Is that what has happened with the Knight Riders? They just made so many changes that they just came back to like game 2 or something.
Yeah, look, they'll be hoping Umesh Yadav is fit. If he isn't, they've lost Pat Cummins, and look, that tells you something, because I spoke to Pat today. I messaged Pat today, and it's a niggle. So had they felt Kolkata is in a situation to contend, he would have played. Okay, he's going back also because they're saying, even if we win both games, the chances are we are not going to qualify. So he's going back on that basis, and on that basis, he's on the flight. But this niggle is not happening in the last match. This is a niggle with which he came to this tournament.
Yeah.
So it's not had they been 8-6, he would have stayed. And that, I think, tells you a little bit about what Kolkata is thinking, because I think at this point in time, Brendan would also, any coach in the world would be distracted. He's just got a new assignment for the next few years with England. Lots happening there. So I think right now, Kolkata's really, this match, it's a bit of a distracted unit, to say the least.
Yeah, but it's just been, this season has just been for the Knight Riders, when you just look at just off field and just number of changes and, the personnel, missing, being rotated. 2 people from your 4 retentions are not playing for a couple of games. Have you just felt that it's both, right, Pommy? There's been a bit of lack of clarity in the approach, and maybe that's come because there has been, I guess, a lack of intent and execution.
I think that at the start of the tournament, in their minds, the couple of guys that weren't there were part of what is their best 11. So in their minds, so as a side, as they look and think, okay, who's here, who's not, who's playing now? Okay, you play, and you can play the couple of games that these guys aren't available. But when they become available, they play. And this is our first 11, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is the couple of guys get some runs or get some wickets, and then it kind of just throws things off. Because then you think, oh, yeah, but we have to make this change. And then when they go out, you start to kind of slide up, down. And then you think, well, okay, no, we've got to change. So essentially, right from the beginning, there isn't this is our first 11. It's our first 11 will play probably in game 3 or game 4. And then it just keeps going. Yeah. And now they've made, 20 how many changes?
23, 24.
Yeah, it's the most by far,
of
all the sides. So, yeah, I think they've just not been able to have stability. And because there hasn't been the stability, it's meant the performances have been inconsistent as well.
Yeah, you remember my rhyme from 2013. If you are not stable, you will fall off the point table. That's right. It's one of the classics. It's one of the classics of the IPL.
Yeah, it's being taught everywhere.
It's in schools, in the syllabus as we speak. No, but I just want to add to this. One of the things that Kolkata is doing, and I think it's not doing really well, it does a lot of things well. So Kolkata, for example, has just got a new franchise in a new league, and it's growing. But if the person who's responsible for getting new franchises and doing new deals, that's a strategic function. Okay. If that person is also micromanaging the team selection, then we're in a bit of a logjam, because what Shreyas Iyer has said is a bit disturbing at all levels, because what Shreyas Iyer is saying is that everyone is, even the CEOs, involved in team selection as well. So what it does is that, look, I think Kolkata has done fantastic strategically as a franchise, getting a US franchise, getting a Trinidad franchise.
As a business,
as a business. But getting Kolkata as a business, if the core of Kolkata is the heart of the Kolkata Knight Riders, perhaps that team needs a completely different form of leadership. It doesn't need a strategic business leadership. It needs a more hands-on leadership, which is more cricket-oriented, not business-oriented. And what Shreyas said, as somebody who's worked with Kolkata for a long time, or as somebody who's a fan of Kolkata, obviously, because I've worked 7 years with them, 7 seasons with them, is a bit disturbing.
Because it's been a captain's team, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, when you were there, it was Gautam's team, wasn't it? It was Gautam running.
It was Gautam's team and Trevor Bayliss' team, and nobody else had any say in the matter. It was Gautam and Trevor Bayliss, and they've decided what to do.
I think Joy's signal has got. Joy's buffering.
Can you hear me?
Like how the Knight Riders are buffering this season. Joy is
buffering
as well. Yeah. Do we have him back yet? We'll have him back in just a second. We can see him, but we can't hear him. But trust me.
Can you hear me now?
Words that you've said.
I can hear you.
I think from what Shreyas said as well, I think the message is pretty clear. And that's how the Knight Riders did well back when they won the trophies as well. I mean, it's been about 8 years now since they won a trophy. So, perhaps time to relook at that master plan. All right. Well, that's about it then. That's the game tomorrow. Hyderabad will be refreshed, I guess, and after their break, and saying, all right, if we can win that game tomorrow, we can go 12-12. And the Knight Riders say, hang on, it doesn't look like we have much to lose now. Let's just go hard and, try to make an impact. Let's go to 12, but they've played 13 games, so which means with their net run rate, they'll still be a little behind the other teams of 12, but they will jump over Hyderabad if they do that. So 1 spot's better than 0 spots jumped up. So they'll be looking at doing that tomorrow. It's going to be a hotly contested game. But why are you listening to me? I said that today as well. Look what happened in the end. Yeah. So don't trust me. I am telling you, do not trust me. What was our power play prediction? Did anybody get that right? What was it? We were like
awfully wrong.
52, 57. What was it?
I was 57 was the lowest. I was the lowest at 57.
What was our power play?
Yeah, I was +5, 62.
Okay. So 57, you were at 62. I think none of us were close, right? I think whatever happened, Gaurav was even above us. So I don't think any of us ended anywhere close. Did we, Pommy?
No, and we weren't, because they lost wickets up at the front, and in the end, what were they? Three down within the power play. And
wait, I'm here to tell you what they were. Hang on.
44 for 3.
They were 44.
Yeah,
that's what they were. They were 44. All right, that's what they are. I'm back now. I'm back. Everything is okay. It's midnight and I turn into a pumpkin. Strange things happen when it hits 12. So that's what happened. My whole system's turned into a pumpkin. All right, before my formal shirt turns into a handkerchief, I think it's time to say goodbye. But before that, we have a little more administrative work to do, the joy factor question and answer. So I'll leave that to you, good professor.
Okay, here goes. Here's the question. Only once in the 21st century have 7 Indian batters been dismissed bowled in the same innings. Who took 4 of those wickets and 5 for the innings? And it's somebody who's played a little bit against us. And he played, in fact, for Kolkata for 1 season, James Pattinson, and it was in Chennai in February 2013. And let me tell you one more very interesting thing about that. James Pattinson is his elder brother, has played 1 test match for England. So one brother has played a test match for England, the other one's played for Australia. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, I remember that test match. They said what he did, his brother, was paint roofs and something in in the UK, and he played. And I can't remember if it was an Ashes Test match actually, and he played at Yorkshire, at Leeds, because his county was Nottingham, and he used to swing the ball, they said. And so selectors decided, horses for courses, he's going to play just out of left field. Just, yeah, he's going to play in this test match. I don't know. I can't remember if he got a wicket or not. But he didn't go so well.
I don't think he did. I'm sure he didn't get too many, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it was just a quite incredible era. Like, it's just like, wow, like how have they done that? But hey.
You said he paints roofs, right? Because he paints houses means something else, right?
Yeah, yes, but because
that's Irishman. Come on.
Yeah.
Talking to me.
I know what you mean. Well, that was the line, wasn't it, Joy? That he paints roofs, or was it fences? I can't remember. I thought it was roofs.
Roofs.
It was roofs and fences. Yeah.
But there is a Pattinson who's now Batman, and here's two Pattinsons who are Ballman. That's not what you call it.
This one was Darren Pattinson.
Yeah. Darren, yeah.
There you go. He finds it. He would not have been able to sleep if he had not told us this before we went off there. All right, let's have a quick look at who our winner is. The first person to get the correct answer in was Parth Narodia. Parth Narodia is getting up on the leader honors board, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah. Tanmay will be looking exactly like Kolkata. Not Kolkata. Rajasthan is looking behind their backs, and so is Bangalore. Tanmay will be looking behind his back and wondering.
Yeah, his Parth is coming. Parth is in your rearview mirror. And all of you can also answer a Joe Factor question on Twitter. That's where we are. It doesn't matter who's buying it, who's selling it, who's not buying it, who's not selling it. We are always there. All right? So just come at us. Add us. Just add us, baby. All right, before we go, Joy's new show, Retro Reels, episode out today. That's right.
Yeah.
And this one has you doing a little item number, does it, Joy? Is that correct?
No, I wish it was an item number, but the item number that I have mentioned is from a record in women's cricket, which was absolutely spectacular. And I really think, Indian women's cricket has done so many things that we don't talk about. This one is a really special mention of that. Do watch it if you have the chance.
Your trivia items are just amazing. I've got to tell you, it's full to the brim with that. So even though Joy doesn't dance, he will give you some stories that will make your mind dance. That's what it is, right? And mind dance is better than body dance, especially with the three of us are concerned. Mind dance is much better. I don't know, man. Maybe. Come on, Pommy, bring out some moves, my brother.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, 1 second. Robert Pattinson? Oh, that's stellar joke. That's stellar mic drop.
Very good.
Stellar mic drop. We're going to scoot from here. Thank you so much for being with us on Cricbuzz Live. Pommy Mbangwa and Joy Bhattacharjya. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. I'm Gaurav Kapur. And before I go, just remember, as we said in the podcast, Mbangwa, you can't.
I knew you'd say it.
All right. Good night, everybody.